Okay, we are open to questions now. John.
Okay, now, I'm unclear about chance and will are the two.
Freedom and will.
Sorry, freedom and will. Okay.
And chance is. Sorry, I'll let you finish your question.
Yeah, okay. Freedom and will are the two determining. Can you explain a little more about what pragmatism is? Not just from his point of view, just give us some. What is the
not from his point of view?
Sorry?
He's the father of pragmatism.
Who, sorry?
He's the father of American pragmatism, so I don't know if I can describe it without from his point of view or using Pierce
whatever point of view.
or Dewey. Huh?
Whatever point of view, but I'm unclear about still what.
I think okay. Well, that's why I have this complete other speech that somebody else gave with like every question that somebody else could ask. But I think the best quote for pragmatism is the value of any truth is utterly dependent upon the use to the person who holds it.
So it's determinism?
No, pragmatism is
as a result of.
pragmatism is a separate idea from freedom and will. I'm sorry, but they're not all connected. James used his ideas of pragmatism to help define freedom and will and to say why freedom and will should not be used together, and then also just to say we have determinism and indeterminism, so you guys can stop arguing. Well, okay.
I'm not aware of it as an ism.
Okay, so the argument of determinism versus indeterminism has been going on since, for 2,500 years or longer. For a long time.
Which is the argument of freedom of choice and
right. It was generally an argument between people who believed in gods and thought that everything was decided for them, was determined for them, and then the Greek philosophers who started to think, it was like Epicurus and a few other, I can't remember, started to think, no, we have this thing called free will. Or they started to talk about freedom and will, and they put them together, and we have free will. And later, in the 1700s, is that right, or 17th century, John Locke said, 17th century, John Locke said freedom and will don't belong together, and finally, about 108 years ago, or 100, well, actually, I can't remember how long ago, but James came out with this even more well-defined reasons why freedom and will should not be used together, and how that actually one seems to describe determinism and the other indeterminism. Does that answer your question?
I'll ask you more questions.
Yeah, I have one question. Actually, it's maybe a little related to the last one, because so pragmatism is kind of methodology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he uses this methodology to support his views. So you mentioned about the facts, the truth. We have the facts, but there are no pure facts. Only facts that are related to us.
He said that it's only. Sorry.
Just
I won't remember.
Yeah. Okay. And so, how is the truth? The truth of the fact brings more facts. I mean,
I think I understood that part. If you remember. Okay.
Yes.
The facts are
The pragmatic truth
are not yet truths. They are continually changing as the truth is always being redefined as you move along through the timeline. So the facts are not considered as truths because they are not facts in the truest sense.
So let me read this. Let me read this quote again. Truths emerge from facts, but they dip forward into facts again and add to them. So what would a fact be? Like, this is a cup. Okay. So what kind of truth can we find from the fact that this is a cup? I'm not sure.
and you can use it for drinking.
We can use it for drinking, or maybe if somebody has water, we can pour in it, and somebody's thirsty, we can quench their thirst.
You say
Something
tea
like
is
that.
hot, and then it becomes cold, then the facts change, right? So truth is
Yeah, but I think he was saying more like, once we start to have truths about the facts, those truths start to influence what we think about the facts, something like that. So then the facts create or reveal new truth, and so on indefinitely. Every time we come up with a fact, we can come up with new ways to interpret that fact, and those new ways to interpret the fact then change our ideas about the thing itself, and so on.
It's true of beliefs too. I mean, just learning growing process.
Right. So he says, so facts themselves are meanwhile are not true, they simply are. Truth is a function of the beliefs that start and terminate along those facts. So you have a continuous fact, and truths can be found in those facts. A belief was true if it worked for all of us and guided us expeditiously through our semi-hospitable world. That's why it really reminds me of David Pendry's speech.
Okay, any more questions?
Hope so. I've got a bunch more quotes.
Yeah, okay, then I'll ask one. You said that James draws from Locke. Locke's experience, theory of experience and freedom and will.
For empiricism.
For empiricism, yes. Maybe I didn't quite get it about the difference between Locke's and James's views on freedom and will. Locke said that freedom and will cannot be together, like they are two different agents. That it was wrong, that all the time during the history of philosophy people thought that the will can be free. He said no, they're totally different agents. One is will, one is freedom. You can't say that one agent is another agent. Yes. So is this similar with James? Or where is it different?
I think James just defined them in his own way. Maybe tried to make it a little bit more clear. But I think they were basically saying the same thing. Though I think where James goes further is he says, okay, because he defines what is hard determinism versus soft determinism or compatibilism. And James said that Locke and Hume were compatibilists. They were soft determinists, which is.
And he claimed for himself that he is not soft determinist.
He said that he is not. He says that he's indeterminate. But he said, okay, fine. I'm not. I don't want to be necessarily any part of this determinism, soft or hard. But that he understands that there are a lot of factors in our lives that relate very closely to determinism. I personally haven't studied Locke, so I'm not sure exactly what Locke said. You could probably give us an idea on that.
Question about, can you explain a little bit more about the relationship between freedom and will and why they cannot be reconciled in his view?
Well, if I'm getting this clearly from James, that will is I wish I could find a quote in here. That will is related to determinism. Right? That will is related to determinism, and your will is kind of influenced by your character, your values, and your feelings, and your desires. Your will is influenced by those things. Where freedom, he relates to random chance, just having the ability to go in any direction. I was thinking about it. I don't know if this is going to answer your question very well, but I was thinking about it, and it's like, because there's a lot of argument between determinism and indeterminism. But to throw out something like chance, saying like, okay, let's say you're not really thinking about something and you go the wrong way. What somebody would say is the wrong way. You're doing that the wrong way, you're doing that the hard way or something, but you still end up getting to where you're going, or you learn something new which takes you in another direction. It's that kind of freedom. It's not like I take my freedom to do something, just the freedom is there.
You talk about it, like will is influenced by character, by what other values?
Character, values, feelings, desires, biology, geography.
A positive tool, right? When we use them to sort of guide ourselves.
Yeah, James isn't saying. He's not saying that they're that's negative. He's saying that the world is determinate and indeterminate. And what he's really saying is, he's just basically saying, hey, determinist people, there is chance. Okay, you've got to agree with that. And then, hey, indeterminist people, you can't use the term free will as an argument.
I'm saying that will is encumbered, so you can't, with all these different things that lead us astray, so we cannot in that grasp freedom. Is that what he's saying?
I think it's possible. I haven't ever had a chance to ask him, but I think it's possible that he just wanted to be more clear and define it and say it's a cop-out just to say, oh, I have free will. Maybe. I don't know. It seemed like he wanted to make it very clear, and this was his way of making it clear. He couldn't think of maybe another way to make it more clear. Just let's separate these ideas of freedom and will, and once we do that, we can see that our lives include both determinist and indeterminist factors.
Just as a working model, to separate them, look at them as separate.
I think in a way he kind of just wanted to stop the argument. He wanted to get people to move on. That's the sort of the pragmatic idea. It's just, there are things that philosophers can and should argue about, and there are other things that shouldn't. And he was like, let's take this argument over free will or determinism and indeterminism. Let's stop it now.
Here we have a question. Here.
So, as I understand this, as what James is saying is that the will is exercised in the realm of freedom. That,
right.
That, for example, the will is not free, but it's exercised among the possibilities that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I don't know, you go out to eat spaghetti, right? And you have 3 kinds of spaghetti, but let's say one is too spicy, another is too salty, and your stomach badly reacts to spicy thing, and the salty things bring some memories that you for some experience that you had when you were a kid. So you are not free to choose those two, because biologically or psychologically you are blocked.
Your will won't let you choose
Yeah,
that, right?
so actually you go only for the third one.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can get into the pragmatism, because you can eat it and you won't be hungry, right? You still satisfy your need. So I don't know if this is the proper equation for those kind of 3 things: will, freedom, and the pragmatism. How do you think? How is it?
It sounds nice, but it sounds almost a little bit too simple. It sounds like if you go to a restaurant and you only have 3 choices, that's kind of limiting. I think I really liked so it's actually a lot of philosophers had this 2-stage model, but the 2-stage model says that that's separating chance and choice. So, right. Let me read this again. A two-stage decision process with chance in a present time of random alternatives. And if it doesn't seem like just 3 choices of pasta is a present time of random alternatives. It would probably be more like you go to order pasta, but they're out of pasta, right? So you have to order something else completely different, which maybe you've never tried before. So then and you don't speak the language even or something, so you have no idea if it's spicy or salty or not, but you order 3 of them, and you try 2 of them, and one's too spicy, one's too salty, and one's just right, but maybe the pragmatist idea is it doesn't matter because you're still getting full anyway.
But you can will your way out, go to another restaurant, but say, like what he was saying about your reaction to the salt is something that's you don't have control over.
Right, and you could, but then again you might find the same thing in the next restaurant.
That was a silly example, right? I mean, but there's no other restaurant, let's say, right? Your choice is only those 3 things, and I know this is pasta, but those choices might be, exercised within realm of relation with other people, right? And let's say you badly react to some kind of people because you have some memories coming up from your biographical story, that you met some people that you just, you know that you will not get along with the person you met because it brought you some memories. And so your choice is limited, although there are a lot of people around you, right? But this person is, this kind of people is excluded from your choice, right? So it's still, those limitations might happen within this huge ocean of possibilities.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a better way to describe it, a crowd of people maybe like that. So you have a almost unlimited chances, but your choice is still determined by a lot of factors. So chance in a present time of random alternatives leading to choice, which grants consent to one possibility and transforms an equivocal, ambiguous future into an unalterable and simple past. I wish I could find that written out in simple terms.
It's another question. Just you're so hungry that you're driven to choose very quickly. Is this something? So would you separate in terms of freedom of will, separate hunger and desire to eat? Are they something that can be?
Yeah, I'm not sure if James was being that specific.
Well, they're two different. They're on 2 different planes, sort of. They're driven by 2 different things, right? Desire to eat, and whatever, taste, memory, whatever, and also your physical hunger, which may preclude you from searching for other choices or for even considering it for very long. But
You're asking me a question.
I'm asking you a question, man. Let it go.
What? How does hunger relate to freedom or will?
Well, just in the same scenario, but within that same scenario, the possibility that hunger may be
I'm not sure if hunger does relate to freedom or will. It's like it's a bodily function that we have to do.
Yeah, but it's also something that's feeling. It's something that we feel.
Okay, well then it's fine. Not hunger, not physical hunger. Then your want to eat something, just your want to do anything, really, if you first have the want to do something, then if you go out to do that, you might encounter random chance and possibility, but you're still being driven by your will to do that thing. I think.
But it's on different levels as well. It's not one driving force behind going out to eat.
Yeah.
You go because you're hungry, you go because you want to be satisfy your taste or whatever.
So answering this, maybe I remember watching some sort of program about a woman who had a very deep psychological problems, and due to these problems, only what she ate were French fries. Only this, 5 times a day, with ketchup or salt, but only French fries, and she couldn't eat anything else because she felt this deep repulsion toward food, but she still had to eat something, right? She had this drive, she was hungry, so she was eating this, but her choice shrinked, right? Actually, she didn't have choice at all. So you cannot turn off this drive. You can just exercise your will, but within the scope of possibilities you have. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's also saying it's still open for completely random things to happen. Like you're on your way to go eat food because you're hungry, or you just want to eat and a bus hits you or something like that.
But
That's pretty random.
That's pretty random.
It's like a meal.
very interesting stuff. I've read somewhere about him. I don't remember where. That he said that you should try something that you don't want to do every day, like get you out from your comfort zone of maybe of choices that you already did, right? And do something new that you don't really feel like, or you feel kind of anxiety about. Just go beyond this border and do it. Small thing, but every day, every second day. So did you see this?
That it reminds me of when he was talking to his students about just choosing which direction to walk home. He said it's okay to walk home a different way. And then I was thinking about something else and I just lost it.
Yeah, I have a question also. Do you have any idea how does he relate the truth to the usefulness? I mean, what does the truth mean to us? Why he's trying to pursue the truth, the meaning of to define what is truth, and can the truth has a meaning to us, or is just a pure theoretical truth that something is what it is, or has to do with us?
Right. Well, I think he was saying that truth is dependent on the person who holds that truth. So truths can be different between different groups of people. Are you asking me if he believed that there was an overlying truth at the base of everything?
Kind of, yes. He denies that there is truth in this way, right?
I don't know.
You don't know. Like, for example, the example just Michael gave with the French fries. That's the truth for that person. That she doesn't eat anything else except French fries. So no matter what choice, if she made another choice, then she will have problems with the stomach. So the only truth for her is French fries.
I think the way that James talked about these ideas like truth was in regards to philosophy itself. And I don't think he got very specific about, he just left it kind of general, defined but general, and said, okay, this is in regards to philosophy. He sort of was trying to just make it an easier way for people to communicate with each other about these ideas. He obviously left a lot of stuff out. Bertrand Russell had a problem with his ideas of experience. But yeah, I can't really answer that question.
Right. No, it's okay.
Yeah. A few years ago, the IBM company made a Deep Blue computer, and eventually that Deep Blue computer has a competition with the World Championship. Yeah.
Chess.
Yeah. Then Deep Blue outsmarted the championship. So to the computer, the Deep Blue have the freedom to choice?
Well, I think it would be interesting if it was a different sort of game with no winner or loser, maybe. But I think chess has a set number of moves, like 20 billion moves, or I don't know, 20 million moves or something like that. There are only a certain number of moves that can be made, and if I think part of the idea of being good at chess is how many moves ahead can you think. And if Deep Blue can think of all of the possible moves at once, it's kind of like your choices. How many choices do you have? You've got, if there are only 3 moves that you can make and you can think about them all at the same time, you'll probably do a good job. Does Deep Blue have freedom? I doubt it. If Deep Blue could say, I don't want to play this game anymore. Let's go get a Coca-Cola or something. Maybe, but I think James's idea was it has to be just really random. It has to be really random. It can't be like I only eat pasta, so I'm always going to go to a pasta restaurant. You don't. And I eat pasta because my family's Italian or something like that, and because my mom fed me that, and I've always gotten strong by eating it. And that just is all, I think to him that would be just all related to will, and there would not really be any freedom in that. Freedom has to have an element of completely random chance. Just, like you said, do something out of your comfort zone, right? If Deep Blue could do something out of its comfort zone, if it had a comfort zone, then maybe it could be free.
Would a pragmatist consider that to be an exercise in freedom or an exercise?
Sorry, would a what?
Would a pragmatist to do something out of your comfort zone, would they consider that to be an exercise in freedom or an exercise in will? Which of the two would they?
That's a good question. Would a pragmatist think that doing something out of their comfort zone would be an exercise in freedom or an exercise in will? I guess it would be an exercise in will, because you understand that you're doing something out of your comfort zone, but it's probably helping to open yourself up to the freedom of chance. You know, if you walk down a road that you've never walked down before, you have no expectations of what could happen. You have nothing to guide yourself by, except for necessarily what's in yourself. You know, if you see a wolf, you're probably going to run, but there could be a lot of other chance possibilities that you wouldn't be able to draw from experience on. I think his idea was that freedom is just, well, freedom is the ability to have chance in our lives. It's not like, I get this feeling that it's not like somebody says, I have freedom. It's not like that. It's like, freedom exists, therefore I have the possibility of having random encounters, something like that. Or even randomly learning by not doing something, or not thinking about something.
Okay, we have time for one more question, last question. And no one has a question, and Ethan, you have a last word for the speech?
Well, let's see. Here's another, speaking about chance, here's another quote about chance. So James described chance as not hard determinism nor soft determinism, but indeterminism. He said the stronghold of the determinist argument is the... Oh wait, did I already read that? Maybe not. The stronghold of the determinist argument is the antipathy to the idea of chance. As soon as we begin to talk about indeterminism to our friends, we find a number of them shaking their heads. This notion of alternative possibility, they say, this admission that only one of several things may come to pass is, after all, only a roundabout name for chance. And chance is something, the notion of which no sane mind can, for an instant, tolerate in the world. What is it, they ask, but barefaced, crazy unreason, the negation of intelligibility and law. And if the slightest particle of it exists anywhere, what is to prevent the whole fabric from falling together, the stars from going out, and the chaos from recommencing her topsy-turvy reign?
Okay, thank you, Ethan.
Thanks.